Tesla robot or remote control bot?
It can say this is a demonstration of what it might be like to interact with one of these robots in the future. And
right.
And then you're fine. Right. But that would be telling the truth. Even if they were autonomous, but maybe they weren't ready yet or whatever, you could just get away with a lot. You get away with a lot more by saying this is a demonstration of what it might be like.
Hello, how the tech are you? This is our weekly tech show on Eplex Media. We talk about tech news and science news and whatever other tech and science stuff we feel like talking about. I am historian Matt, and I am a co-producer and co-host on this show. And my other co-host and co-producer will introduce himself later during his section. So I'm going to jump right into my one and only story. And it's back to making fun of Elon Musk again. This one is the Tesla robot or remote control bot is my title. So basically, 2 years ago, Tesla introduced us to their humanoid robot called Optimus. And just this week, they held the We Robot event. I guess when this post, it might be the week before, I guess. But so because we can always get this out a little bit late, but the We Robot event happened recently, featuring the most recent version of the Optimus robot. There's just one problem. Attendees of the event are not really convinced the robots they saw were really fully autonomous. The attendees were able to interact with the robot. One of the robots was serving drinks from behind a bar, and other robots were actually carrying on conversations with attendees. But yes, a lot of the attendees just weren't convinced that it was an actually fully autonomous robot, or if there was somebody, behind the scenes remotely operating the quote robot. Elon Musk, when he introduced the event, he avoided saying the robots were actually autonomous. This may mean anything from the robots were getting help from a remote person to being completely remotely controlled. So what do you think, Dave?
So I even heard rumors that some of them were just people in robot costumes.
I did not get that impression. I know the original robot, when the Optimus was originally introduced like 2 years ago, they had somebody in a costume dancing around, and it made no sense and it was really stupid. But from my impression from this article and other stuff I've read online, it basically saying that it seemed like they really looked like robots. They were built like robots, but the people interacting with them, to them it seemed like there was somebody behind the curtain, right? Controlling everything.
There's not a problem with this either, because all kinds of times, like for products that aren't out yet or whatever, it'll say fucking computer rendering, right? And so it can say this is a demonstration of what it might be like to interact with one of these robots in the future. And and then you're fine. Right. But that would be telling the truth. So that's that's not what Elon Musk does. He makes a bunch of wild promises and then does stuff where, this case, it's kind of questionable. There's not definitive proof and they haven't said one way or the other. But a lot of people think that these aren't really the robots that Elon Musk claims they are. And he's being cagey about it. They haven't come out to say one way or the other at this point, as far as I know. It's usual Elon Musk bullshit. Even if they were autonomous, but maybe they weren't ready yet or whatever, you could just get away with a lot. You get away with a lot more by saying this is a demonstration of what it might be like in the future. Everybody does that. Everybody fucking does that. It's like, they show a car and it's like professional driver on a closed course with prototype car. You know what I'm saying? They do this all the time in marketing. Yep. And it's fine.
I mean, it's not fine. People get called out for that all the time. And I kind of agree with the people calling them out sometimes, or most of the time, actually. But yeah, it's marketing BS. I get it.
As long as you disclose it, who cares? As long as you disclose it.
Yeah, that's the important thing, right?
My favorite thing was they'd have a TV commercial for a TV, and then they'd say television image simulated. And I'm like, well, why do you care how good the image on the TV that you're putting on my TV is? Because I'm using my TV to look at that image. It's like,
right. Yeah, that's the funny. I watch some YouTube videos where there's some channels that review tech, and I think it's funny when they try to show some monitor or something, and they're like, "Oh, look at all these artifacts. I can't see them because my I mean, my TV is not terrible, but it's across the room. Like I'm not gonna see these artifacts you're talking about or problems that you're talking about.
Yeah, showing that, like, we're a little off topic, but it is pretty funny, the idea that you're going to show me how good a display is by putting it on a display that I already own.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe you're like, look at how brilliant that yellow is, and I'm like, well, my TV's reproducing it just fine, actually.
Yeah, but it's all kind of silly.
So these robots are stupid for like a lot of reasons. I don't think people want robots in their house, and I don't think like humanoid robots are generally going to be the best type of robot to help in industry. Robots robots that are useful are generally specific purpose designed to do something. You know, you think of a car factory, right? You don't have humanoid robots. You have just arms, essential arms that either lift or weld or.
Well, so a couple things. If these were like completely autonomously controlled, remotely controlled robots, I mean, there's problems with them being humanoid, but that's beside the point. Like, they would still be they could be really useful because, yeah, they're remotely controlled, but you have some guy in India remotely controlling them, and you're paying them like 1/10 what you'd have to pay somebody in the United States to do, and you can have stuff manufactured here. There's problems with that, obviously, but
no shit, right?
Yeah, but that's something that would make it useful,
You're like, America only gets the negative externalities of the factory, none of the labor force participation.
Exactly. The great, all the great stuff of not
pollution and
exactly.
I guess no traffic.
True. Yeah. But you do have robots that could kill people still in these things. But the other thing is, like you said, industrial robots, like they would have arms, and usually a lot of these places, in warehouses and stuff, the robots have wheels because they don't have to worry about going up and down stairs or something, right? Like they don't have to step up or down stuff. If you're in a warehouse, you can make the warehouse work for robots, right?
Right.
Put ramps everywhere.
You probably have people, if it's wheels and stuff, you just probably have people that are making sure that the places the robots are going are nice and clean, so the robots can just travel where they need to go. Yeah,
that's how Amazon does it, right? They have a lot of robots in their warehouses now, like moving stuff around, and they're all just like on wheels. They're actually like almost little Roombas from the ones that I saw that would go under a rack and just kind of like have a thing come up to lift the rack up and then drive it around. It was rather interesting, but I always think of like comparing Tesla's stuff to Boston Dynamics, and they have an industrial robot. There's the small one, but they actually have a bigger one that's just this giant arm on. I think it's still on legs because they want to be able to go up and down some basic stairs. But they're like, well, you can use this for like loading a truck, right? Like it'll know how to pick stuff up, pick up boxes, and move it into a truck, and on its own. It's actually useful and built specifically for what it is. It just needs an arm and legs to walk around on or something.
Well, that's crazy. We'll see. Whatever Elon was saying about those robots is probably a lie. Thanks for checking out How the Tech Are You? This is our weekly tech show from Echoplex Media. If you'd like to check out our other content, I'm not sure I recommend that, but if you'd like to, you can go to echoplexmedia.com or watch us live on Twitch 6 nights a week, twitch.tv/echoplexmedia. And you can support this project a variety of ways. Just go to echoplexmedia.com and click the support tab. I recommend buying a hat like mine. Have a great tech and week. There should be some links to other things you should check out at the tips of my fingers.